In Rhino, before exporting, position your prepared curves close to the origin. If you order the curves in layers in Rhino, it will be much easier to select them in Illustrator. Export as an illustrator.ai file and make sure to preserve model scale 1 mm equals 1 mm. To easily access your exported file in the computer lab, you can upload it via internet browser to your home drive. In the computer lab, go to dfl.kthcnc.se and download the Illustrator template. Open the template file in Illustrator and follow the instructions to properly prepare your drawing for laser cutting. Prepare your material to the maximum dimensions of 960 x 609 mm. If you're using cardboard, you can use the template in the computer room to trace with the pencil and then cut along the trace lines with the mechanical scissors. Book a time slot in the digital booking system. You are free to book a maximum of 1 time slot in advance and make sure that you arrive on time to your time slot. When you arrive in the DFL on the time slot that you have booked, log into the computer connected to the laser cutter that you have booked and open your fully prepared Illustrator file. Turn on the laser cutter. If it doesn't turn on, also make sure that the power switch on the laser cutter is on. After the laser cutter has successfully booted and homed its X and Y axes, jog down the machine bed so that you can more easily put your material there without colliding with the laser cutter head. Position your material sheet so that its top left corner is situated at the farthest left corner of the laser cutter workbed. Gently push and pull the X and Y axes so that the laser head is situated above the center of the material sheet. Take up the autofocus pin, and this is a piece of delicate, expensive hardware that is very easy to damage, so make sure that you carefully handle it. Use the 2 guidance pins on the laser cutter head to carefully align the autofocus pin onto the laser cutter head. Gently push it to position. Press the grey autofocus button to automatically adjust the height of the surface bed with regards to the material thickness. Gently remove the autofocus pin and reposition it to its resting place, and then press the function 1 key back to confirm the position of the surface bed. Close the glass window. Back at the computer, open the print interface and select the Spirit GLS printer as the active printer. Click Setup, Continue and Properties to enter the printer driver settings for the laser cutter. Load a preset setting from the history file list by double-clicking or click the Load button. You must load a preset so that you have a non-erroneous starting point. You may modify the values as you see fit with regards to the material that you have chosen, but for an initial test run, the defaults might as well be used. Click OK to confirm the laser cutter printer driver settings. Click Print to confirm. Select the Laser Illustrator media size preset and make sure that the placement is at the top left reference corner. To save these settings without sending the operation to the laser cutter, click Done. Create in a separate layer a small test rectangle outside of your drawing's contents and assign proper stroke color, stroke thickness and fill color, and hide the other layers so that you can separately send only the test objects to the laser cutter. Sometimes at this stage, Illustrator throws an error that the illustration cannot be printed, but it usually works when you print again without changing anything. If Illustrator freezes or does not consistently want to send the illustration to the printer, then what usually works is turning off the laser cutter, signing out of your account, switching on the laser cutter and logging in again. Verify that the index number has been updated and that the file name is correct, and then press the red Start button to start the job. Doing a test run like this is recommended because in 5 to 8 seconds of active laser cutting time, it gives you a fairly clear view whether the settings you have chosen are adequate or not, so that you can revise this in a succeeding test before finding the adequate settings with regards to speed and power, so that you can start your final projects knowing that the settings are in the ballpark of being correct. When you have found adequate settings for the material that you are cutting, just hide the test layer and show again your original layers and send the documents to the laser cutter. Verify that the index number has changed and start the job. Never leave the room with an active operation running. If you have to go to the bathroom or anything like that, hit the F1 key during operation to pause it, and then when you have returned, you can hit the same F1 key to resume. If you're cutting any plastic materials, make sure to wait 5 minutes after the beep until you open the glass window to sufficiently ventilate out the nasty smoke. Otherwise, you can open the glass window as soon as the finished beep has sounded. Before cleaning, turn off the laser cutter on the wall, then pick up every piece of material on the laser cutter workbed, both your intended model pieces and the pieces of debris. If necessary, use the vacuum cleaner to clean the machine bed. The key rule here is to leave the digital fabrication lab as nice or nicer than you found it. Take good care of our shared resources rooms. Before leaving, make sure to sign out of the computer and to verify that the laser cutter is turned off. If you are the last person, make sure that all 3 laser cutter power switches on the wall are turned off, and also when you leave, make sure to turn off the lights. This tutorial was of course a summary. 7 minutes from a 1 hour and 20 minutes full workflow tutorial series, covering 40 minutes of Rhino modeling and preparations, and then 40 minutes of the actual laser cutting workflow, both in terms of Illustrator preparing and the practical fabrication. My suggestion is that if there were any uncertainties for you personally with these 7 minutes, that you progress with the specific parts of the tutorial series that covers those areas. I hope that you learn a lot about fabricating with the laser cutters here at KTH School of Architecture. Thank you for your time.